Take a walk down Prairie Street with Elliot Moskowitz. Founder and CEO of PrairieStreet.co, Elliot Moskowitz interviews the most interesting personalities in the Jewish and secular world. Today's guest, culinary producer, editor, and recipe developer, Kendra Thatcher.
Welcome to our new podcast series, A Walk Down Prairie Street. Today I have a super special guest, Chef Kendra. You've seen Chef Kendra in many of our videos. How long have we been working together? More than 2 years now?
It'll be 2 years in June.
Wow, you're really marking the date. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is it like, can I make it through the 2 years, or can I just go through that?
Well, let me tell you, it's been a bit of a walk. It's been a walk down Prairie Street.
It's been more like awesome. A ride down Prairie Street.
It's been a ride down Prairie Street. No, it's been amazing, but it has been almost 2 years, and it's incredible to see how far, we've come with the shoots, but also just how far you have come with the company and how much you've built the company in the past couple of years.
Well, it's been a team effort for sure. We have a wonderful team on hand and behind us and in all different ways that are working on this, and it's been an amazing experience. So people ask us all the time is, who's Chef Kendra and what does she have to do with us? And Chef Kendra is amazing because she really plays a dual role with us at Prairie Street. She's our culinary producer, and I'm not sure that they really comprehend or understand the amount of work that it takes before we even shoot for one day of all that pre-production and how much work and logistics and detail and doubling up recipes and everything that it takes to make this a wonderful show. And I think you've done an amazing job, and I know you've done an amazing job actually, and we love working with you. But then on top of it, Kendra plays a dual role and is our chef on camera. So one of the things that we loved working with Kendra on many of our videos is we're always looking to do different things, and we're trying to take fine dining that's done on a non-kosher basis and bring it to the kosher environment. And one of the main components of that is not mixing dairy and meat. And you've been clever with our other chefs of using non-dairy yogurt for Greek moussaka, or using non-dairy vegan butter for French cuisine. And every day we're teaching things more and more that you could be a pro chef in your home, starting with Prairie Street Meat and taking our educational tutorials to the next level.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I was super attracted to you about in the beginning when we started working together was your global background. So why don't you tell us a little about your traveling and how you've done that on a culinary basis?
Yeah, definitely. So I wish I could sit here and say that I've been traveling since I was a kid, but my mother actually was terrified of flying. So I didn't start traveling until I was my late teens, early 20s. But what I did.
Were you still living with your mother in your early 20s?
Well, no, but no, I wasn't. Oh no, she kicked me out right at 18. She's like, "You're going away to college, kid." Okay. But when I was growing up, because I always wanted to travel, I always had this curiosity about the rest of the world because I'm really interested in other people and how they live and what their cultures are and what their families are like. And so I was an avid reader of National Geographic and would watch Discovery Channel nonstop. So all that to say that when I graduated from college, I have a degree in documentary filmmaking. I started working at the Food Network. Now I had done some traveling around the country, Pacific Northwest, San Diego, down to New Orleans. So I'd already started kind of tasting these flavors, right, that were brought in from people from around the world that had settled in the US. And once I really started working at Food Network, I was getting the opportunity to start kind of expanding my footprint a little bit more, which is really great. So I went to France, I went to Italy, and then moved from Food Network to Cooking Channel, which was fantastic. Did a lot of work in Hawaii, but was able to work with a lot of international chefs. After that, I started running a cooking school in New Jersey, believe it or not. There's this amazing area where we live. It's the Delaware River Valley, and it's kind of this like New York expat, but everybody's from like my circle, Gourmet Magazine, Savoir Magazine, Food and Wine Magazine, and they got together and they started this collective and this cooking school. So I ran the cooking school, and we started expanding into international travel, which is what I took over. So did a couple of culinary tours to Baja, developed a culinary tour to Thailand, and it's just has like changed my life and like my perspective of food.
It's amazing. It sounds like you live in an artisan community, and we're an artisan company in the fact that we are always trying to do everything at the highest quality versus the highest volume, and bringing all those components together of filmmaking and culinary experience and traveling. I myself have been to more than 40 countries, and not from a culinary perspective, but when you're in different cultures, you're learning from them. It seems like when I watch Americans travel, sometimes they're trying to replicate their American experience in Rome. They're getting like, okay, they're going to get Pizza Hut or something, or they're trying to just always replicate what they have in other locations. But the real educational experience of traveling is kind of going in there with a fresh slate and an open mind, that they have a different perspective on everything, and what can we learn from them. We've had Chef Yessel Beckman on our channel, also a global chef, and other global chefs, and what they're doing is they're bringing back to us the things that they've learned from other locations. And I think traveling actually is one of the best experiences to learn and to really understand different people, why they have different perspectives and things like that. So as you're going along this journey, do you see a path or an improvement of how we're producing and what we're trying to achieve in the future?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I mean, just from like the logistics and the technical side of it, there's been, you know, every time we film, every time we do pre-production before filming is a learning experience, right? And it's an opportunity to say like, you know, to come back and say like, okay, well, what could we have done better? Like that sort of a thing. And it has, I think, what we were just saying before the camera started rolling, like this shoot, I don't even know how many we've had so far, but this shoot was like by far, in my opinion, the smoothest shoot that we've had. You know, like everything from the way that the crew set up the cameras and the lighting. For me, the biggest thing is communication. So it's all right, how much time does culinary have to, you know, get the set ready, or like prep a recipe or do a swap out, or okay, how much time does the crew have to fix that light, or whatever it may be. Like, okay, well, we have to, the main character is not me, it's the meat. And so like I have to make sure, whatever chef, but like the culinary producer has to make sure like that product is being pampered. Like it's a total diva. This meat is a diva. It is like
prima donna on steroids.
It's a total prima donna on steroids. I mean, it's beefy and manly and like, you know, tough, rough and tough.
Women lead too, I would say. I don't think it's just a man meat.
No, I mean like it's like a masculine, like it's a big beefy product, right? But, and there is a deftness to it, don't worry. But, you know, like it takes preparation. And, you know, like if we have something in the oven, it's like, okay, well, let me pull it for a moment if you guys are going to take 5 more minutes on that. Anyway, all that to say, I think that one of the biggest things that I've seen improve is the communication. And that is huge. I mean, we have such an incredible team. Like the energy is so positive. Like I was just saying, like I always get, there's a lot of stress. Like it goes in, you would think like, oh, you're just cooking, whatever, it's fine. It's like, no, dude, culinary producing is like, it's just like being on set, stressful, right? But like we're such a family, and it's like, I'm really sad. Like I'm driving home after this, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna see them until the next shoot. And you know, you get so close and everything, so.
Except that I Zoom with you almost every day.
I know, exactly, yeah. He's always we happen to be early birds, so we're usually WhatsApping at like
about 4:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. And we do have an incredible team, and I think people don't really appreciate or don't necessarily understand that doing a food video at this level is extremely complicated.
Yeah.
And we have a great production team and a post-production team and everybody involved, but that's what we do right away. Actually, next week, we'll be already having a meeting. I think it's our 9th or 10th round of video shoots that we've done. And we're already going to go through how do we improve for the next time, how do we make it efficient, more efficient, time is money, we take over houses, we build sets, and we work on things where we're always thinking out of the box of how do we introduce things that are different and show you the multitudes of talent that we've really been very lucky to have on camera. And I think what's also been a big improvement, not necessarily improvement, but a change in making it interesting and more lively, is each of you, each of the chefs that are on are uniquely talented in their own right. But when you make a combination of two of them on set, that is steroids. That is absolutely, because each one has their own little thing, pro tip, or the way they address things, and that dialogue back and forth. And one of our main objectives on this channel is no matter what level of chef you are, we're there for you. So if you've never done that before in your life, we're going to take you there from beginning to end. But I can tell you that I hear a lot from chefs and other things, and they'll talk about videos and they'll say, you picked up a point that we really never paid attention to. And that's why one of your many jobs is helping create these short tips that come out on this screen, and we're doing a lot more production of short videos and people can get right to the point. We now have on our website, you don't even have to go to YouTube, you could go to our product pages, print out written recipes and video recipes and watch them and really build a sense of confidence. And I'm not a professional chef, though. If someone gives me $1, I guess I would be, but I think one of the things that we're trying to accomplish is bring value added to whoever's watching that, whether your attention is shorter, whether they're longer, being introduced to certain cuts of meat, and seeing that really people are starting to appreciate what high quality is. You see that on the kosher restaurant scene, that steakhouses that when I grew up never really existed, and people are trying to do that. But one of the things that happened with COVID was that people started, especially high net worth people, started taking holidays in a different way. Where they used to go with hundreds of people and go to a location, now less is more. To have a chef that like Yessel Backman that you could go with and a private villa in Morocco and have someone take care of you for a week straight with 20 people is better than really going to any restaurant. As much as I love many restaurants, but it's better than any experience that you'll ever have, because this is all about you, custom for you, and doing that. And I think one of the things that I was kind of startled during COVID was that how many people lack confidence in cooking. And that people that were married for 20 years and have 5 kids already, and how did they ever feed their family? Well, apparently they did a lot of takeout or other things, but you had all these neighborhood businesses that popped up of people cooking for other people and that. And that's, even though many of our recipes, like one of them that we filmed today with Yessel and Kendra of beef Wellington, super sophisticated, probably most people have never seen this in their life, but when they're finished the video, you guys are all excellent teachers. And there's one thing to be a chef in a kitchen and serve you great food. But if you don't have the personality and you don't have the education skills and you're not able to take big concepts and reduce them to smaller pieces, then we haven't done our job here at the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen. And that's one of the things that I'm super appreciative to have you and other chefs on set, is because we're able to break these things down but be extremely creative. And one shout out to our crew and team. You know, we don't use teleprompters at all over here on this set. This is not a scripted shoot. We might script how we're making it, what method, who's doing it, who's doing what. But really, I'm super proud of that when it gets to the cooking component, many times we do it in one take. We do the whole shoot.
Yeah.
Because people are in their own zone and they're able to just get in that mode. They understand the important elements that they have to teach, and they're incorporating that into these videos. And we're disrupting really the kosher recipe video scene there by having consistent videos, long form every Sunday at 2 o'clock. That's a gigantic commitment. Now we're doing shorts, we have podcasts coming down the road and other things, but we're trying to take it to the next level. So even if you're kosher and you're observant, you could still have the same experiences that everybody else has in your own home.
I would, if I could just add on to that, I've been in the television business a long time, and it's, if you can be humble and have your audience in mind. Like, I actually always picture my grandmother, to be honest, like while we're doing these, and I want her to feel confident and comfortable to be able to cook this food. So I think that what we accomplish so much of the time is like taking these intimidating recipes, or like what might be considered intimidating. I have never cooked so much meat in my entire life, and there are cuts that I've never even touched before I got to set, and it can be scary sometimes, you know, like, because we want to put, like, us, like, up there on camera, like, want to make sure like that we're doing it justice. It is the most humbling thing when you're finally touching it, and like finally getting started with it and like working through the recipe, and you can have that focus of who you're talking to, and it just makes it friendlier, and I think that it makes it really approachable in a lot of ways. Like, you know, it's such an incredible product. I've never seen anything like it. And
I was going to ask you, so how in all your years, you're not Jewish, and that's fine, and actually we love that because you're able to incorporate many things you learned into people that are kosher and Orthodox, but how have you found compared to your whole life cooking non-kosher, the quality of the product compared to the best of the product that you've had that isn't kosher?
Yeah, so a couple of things with that, something a little off what you just asked, but I'm a journalist by trade. So no, I'm not.
You're a filmmaker, you're a journalist, you're a culinary travel, you're involved with theater. Do I have enough hands?
Pilates.
Pilates. I think I'm going to be running out of hands soon.
I'm interested in a lot of things. But I'm a journalist by trade. I'm a food writer. So I love learning about other cultures and other people. Like, I love going into kitchens and talking to people and finding out what they do. And the world has a wealth of knowledge in it. So it has been a pleasure and a challenge, a welcome challenge, like cooking kosher. And I've loved every single moment of it. So I just wanted to state that. But as far as the product goes, so I typically work with, and we've talked about this before, I typically work with, because of where I live, which is a very rural area, very country, more grass-fed meat. I don't want to say that it's lacking, but when you put it up against prairiestreetco.co, it runs away and it hides. You know, it's like the real team just came in. I mean, it's characteristically consistent all the time, like the marbling. I have never been a fan of veal until I started working with Prairie Street Co's veal. And now I love it.
So I've been working on this journey for more than 3 years, and my journey started by living in Brussels, where it was very hard to get kosher meat, and I made a club in France that we would get every few weeks delivery for like 10 families to bring into our thing and say, how do we, and when I speak to chefs, and we have our strong presence in the chef market, the number one thing they want to see is consistent quality. And that's almost the hardest part of this entire project, which is why 2 years ago I made a decision that in kosher, which is a microcosm of the non-kosher market, which is more than $100 billion, that either you could do volume or you could do excellence, but I didn't believe in kosher you could do both consistently. And that's what we're moving into our own USDA plant very shortly, and we're working with the chefs and they're teaching us new cuts, and we're always working to improve the quality of our product and our sourcing. We never buy meat from Mexico, from Uruguay, from Canada even. Everything are the best sources, and they're usually boutique sources that we could control that quality, because once you start buying meat in boxes, you have no idea what you're getting. And that took us a couple of years to really figure out where is the best meat located, and we've served them to Jewish and non-Jewish people. And I think the lamb and the veal especially, like, people are intimidated. They don't necessarily see good product in their stores, and therefore they don't know how to make that. But pretty consistently to everybody we've served it to, whatever their faith, it's pretty much known as this is some of the best product in the country. And that's what we're really trying to accomplish. Why do we spend so much money and time on these videos? Is trying to give you that experience at home, that you have great product to start with, and you have all the education you need to be confident in doing that. And people typically don't like to get out of their comfort zone. And that's why one of the big aspects of this channel, not only do we have different chefs with different cultures and experiences, but we also bring different methods to the channel, which is we could be doing sous vide, Instant Pot, grill, live fire, smoker, on the stovetop, in the oven. We've filmed them all. We've done everything. And it doesn't mean we've done everything that we can't do more, but most people typically stay in one or two lanes that they're comfortable with.
Sure.
And then what we've seen, some of the reaction to our videos, people go, oh, that's not so difficult. And they try that once or twice, and they have a new tool, and they realize that, hey, even if I made this soup in an Instant Pot, it came out the same way as the stovetop, except I did it in 1/5 of the time to be able to do that. And that's what we're really trying to build, is confidence that you could take your products. Why do we give out thermometers? Unless you're a pro chef like Yessel Backman, you have no idea what's going inside a 4-bone prime rib and where that's at. And you can't just touch it and know that. You have to do it. So we give out meat thermometers. We show all the tools necessary to be able to do this, whether you're cooking inside or outside. And that's just been one of the amazing experiences of pulling this together. The genesis of this channel was one of my good friends who's very senior at Google. I said to him, you know, I want to write a Jewish cookbook for guys. You know, all these cookbooks, no offense, are written by women, traditional Sabbath recipes that have been going on forever. Why not show a different angle? And he said, Elliot, you're an old man. Get with it and build a YouTube channel. And I kind of been running with that for the last 2 years. Though I do have about 150 cookbooks, I still read a lot. I love reading and trying to discover and learning new things. But really, that's part of it. And even in this generation, people's attention span is getting less and less. And that's why you're going to see shorts as well that will be coming onto our network, that you have only 2 minutes, you could print out a recipe, you could watch a quickie video of doing that. So that's been amazing.
Yeah, and I think that what we do very well with our videos and these new formats that you're talking about is cookbooks have an intimacy to them, right? You know, like you're reading, the author chose those words very carefully. And I think what we're able to do in the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen is replicate that intimacy, like that welcoming tone for the viewer. That's what it's all about.
Well, you always beam with a positive attitude, and that helps, and that's contagious to everybody that's working. But I think one of the other things that I'm really proud of the channel is, you know, I'm kind of a prosumer chef and try out a lot of methods even before we're going on camera. But one of the really cool aspects, I think, to really understand culinary cooking is to understand concepts versus recipes.
Right.
And this is what I'm learning from chefs. I'm learning from them all the time, how we cut certain products, always learning of what kind of experiences we could take. But one of the things I'm super proud of our channel that I've learned from the chefs is they're teaching concepts. Yes, you could take a recipe, follow beginning to end, and you'll be good. But when you learn concepts, and what I love about this channel and our crew is we are very pre-production focused. But it's kind of etched in jello, is my saying, that 75-25. We have 75% of the shoot nailed down, but we're going to improv all the time. We're going to make changes on the spot that we that we see opportunity. And the fact that we're not telepromptering that and doing all that, and we have such a good feel for each other of how this works, and that's what I've learned. Like, all of a sudden I'm in a jam, I have 2 hours to the Sabbath, I don't have anything ready, but I could take this concept that we learned on a smoker and use an Instapot or something and get that together, and you could apply concepts in different ways. So just the way, like when you made that meat soup recipe, and learning that you don't just dump everything all in at once, and the seasoning is delicate, and you do things in layers. That's been one of the most eye-opening experiences. When people look at a recipe, they literally just do a big dump into everything they have, but they don't understand that the flavors are building upon each other, and the order in which you put them in matters.
You know, it's funny with that. So obviously everywhere around the world, like, they build flavors for their recipes. But it wasn't until I worked with one of my friends who's from India, and she was teaching me, like, Indian food is all about layer building, like basically all the recipes are. And it wasn't until I started working with her at the cooking school that it just kind of hit, you know, it's just like, I'm like, oh, that makes, I've been doing this forever, but like for some reason working with her, it just made it all come together.
So how's the experience different for you when you're solo on camera, or with a professional chef, or with someone who's quasi-crazy like me that's with you?
Well, you know, that goes, I love it. I love it either way. I mean, I'm a home cook when it comes down to it. I'm professionally trained. I'm a dietetic technician as well. Forgot about that. So actually I did go back to, I went back to school and got my nutrition degree when I was 30, and did a lot of culinary training there. But like I said, like, I'm a journalist, like, I love asking questions. So like when I'm on with Yosel, like, we have a very, very different background, you know, so like I want to know why he's doing certain things, because I might do them differently, and that's okay. Like, I ask you questions because I'm so interested in the culture. Like, I loved when we did the cholent together. You know, I learned not just about that dish, but about Shabbat. And like, it was really, you know, it helps to just kind of continue to color in the big picture for me. But I also think that like having the energy of working with somebody else it's so much fun. Because like when I'm home, like, I mean, I love Ryan, my boyfriend, so much, and he is a great sous chef.
Ryan, when are you going to propose already? I mean, come on, we don't have much patience, and there's a line out the door waiting for Chef Kendra. So, Ryan, if you're watching this, I'd get on the move pretty quick.
So, but like, he's really good. Like, I'll be like, hey, can you stir that? Can you do that? So like, it's fun, like, just having that play, you know?
Right, it's amazing. And you've been amazing, and it's contagious, and working with other chefs and how we like to work together, it's really exciting. I have the same mixed feelings as you. It's enormous stress to pull these off. Time is money. There's a lot of people involved. But every time we shoot, we get better at this. And we love the feedback from people and stuff, because we're pretty much in kosher, probably the only player that has consistent quality on a weekly basis. It's committed to this on a long-term basis, and soon we're going to be doing videos in different languages, and the shorts and the podcasts and all that. And it's all about Prairie Street, your luxury kosher experience. The experience just isn't eating the meat and buying the product. It's feel comfortable and confident. If you have a chef that you have the luck to have a chef that's cooking for you, great. But if you're at home, all you got to do is watch one of our videos.
You can do it.
And you could do it, and you're good to go here. So this was amazing. Is there anything else in your, I've counted 7 or 8 jobs that you have so far in your portfolio right now, but is there anything else that's a big ambition or something that you'd like us to completely do different than we've done before?
Well, I've told you this. So this is like my dream for when we film in other areas. Like I want to take the cameras out on the streets and like get into the kitchens of some of the other chefs and let them teach us. You know, like I want to experience like the street food and then bring it into our kitchen and like do it in that same video. You know, you just stimulated an idea for me, because for the next shoot, we're working on actually filming a documentary that we would have Michelin star kosher meal, that we'd have people sitting at a table and being served at different levels for that. But how crazy it would be, and I've done this before, of having 10 chefs at the table and they're each critiquing each other. Like everybody is participating in a dish. I think that would scare the hell out of some people, but it would be, we'd get 1 million views from that. Right. I think we'd scare a lot of people for that, but it would be worth it. It was really interesting. I once had like 3 chefs come over and I made them dinner, and one guy was giving me a lecture on this aspect of my dish and the other thing, and I don't do this right, because people feel that their way sometimes is the only way. But what did you learn from cholent? Cholent is one of those dishes that you're taking the best components in everything, and when you bring them all together, that's what makes that interesting. And that's the fire and energy. I would love to terrify a bunch of chefs and bring them all together and see what happens. I think it would be fun, it would be a blast, and that's really some of our future goals, that we realize that we could be technically and production-wise and teaching you the best recipe, but people are, what's interesting to me, they have so much stimulation hitting their heads all the time. All the social media companies are trying to make you not think more than 20 seconds at a clip at a time, but there's so much that's going on. But when you get that kind of freewheeling environment, the ideas that are stimulated, that there's really no limit to that. And that's the only thing we really ask from you, our audience, is please subscribe. Tell your friends about this channel. There's an enormous amount of energy. You won't be sorry. You're getting great quality content. It costs you nothing. And then one day you're going to be ordering, and you'll see, once you go Prairie Street, you never go back. That's true. So thank you, Kendra, for being on this. Elliot. This has been amazing. I'll probably find a way to see you in between the next shoot anyways, wherever we meet and wherever that is in the country the next time. And we thank our hosts here, wherever we travel. We've filmed in multiple locations. It's a big thing to get people to really shut down their house and set up, and there's a lot. I think one of the cool things that we need to show people is a really in-depth behind-the-scenes video that shows what this takes to do right. And food is one of the most complicated things to film that there is, basically. Oh yeah. So thank you very much for joining us on our walk down Prairie Street, and we'll see you the next time. Thank you.
Subscribe to our channel now and set your notifications so you don't miss our latest recipes and chef-led tutorials. Then head over to prairiestreet.co to shop for your next big meal.